of the most absolute shocking stories that I've ever experienced happened right here on South Franklin Street in downtown Juneau, right about this same exact spot that I'm standing in now. And it was the middle of a day in April, and there's not much local traffic in April because the tourists are not here yet. So the street was very bare. And as I was walking up South Franklin Street, coming at me was a gentleman named Ben. Now, I had met Ben a couple weeks earlier at a 12-step recovery meeting a few miles out the road. I'd given him my name and number and told him if I could ever be of help to him, give me a buzz. And I saw Ben coming down the street, and he had two male friends and a female with him. And I saw Ben, and he was he was going back and forth like this. And I thought, something is not right with him. I'm like, is Ben drunk? I hope not. But I realized with my years of sobriety that something definitely was not right, and most likely he was drunk. So I literally hopped up towards him, and I said, Ben, what's going on, man? And he was stuttering and stuff. And I looked at him and I said, Ben, God has a much better plan for your life than you're using it for right now. And he doesn't want you drunk and stoned in the middle of the afternoon, and I'd love to get you some help. And his two male friends looked at me like, because Ben was a pretty good-sized dude, and his two male friends looked at me like, dude, he's going to just wail on you right now if you don't stop bothering him. And one thing I've learned is that when I'm sharing the Spirit of God with somebody, they usually don't react in such a negative manner. And Ben didn't. And all of a sudden, as I continued my rant about how God had a better life for Ben, all of a sudden, Ben just pulled up the sleeve of his jacket he had on, and he showed me 3 slices from his wrist to his elbow that he had made a few hours earlier. He was trying to end his life. And my whole heart I didn't know what to do. So all of a sudden, I just ramped up just out of instinct. And now I really got into him. And I said, Ben, this is not the plan that God has for you. There's a better way to live this life. And I continued on for a minute or two. And as I continued, all of a sudden, Ben just looked at me, and he casually reached into his pocket, and he pulled out the bloody knife that he had used to attempt to end his life only a little while earlier, and just casually handed it to me. And as I grabbed it and looked at it, I realized what it was. And rather than hit me, Ben walked up to me, wrapped his arms around me, gave me a big hug, stepped back and said, thank you. Grabbed his girlfriend's hand, and his 2 male friends followed along. I called a year later up here to Juneau to talk to some friends, and I said, hey, do you happen to know this guy, Ben? And some folks did. And they said, yeah, just saw him yesterday. So I don't know how much my conversation with Ben had in him still being alive, if any. But the point was, I was able to connect with him because the first time I met him, I had built a small bond with him and enough respect. And so I share that with you, that if you have the opportunity to make a difference in someone's life today, please do so. And if you're someone like Ben who's feeling down and out, and you feel like it's not worth being here tomorrow, please seek help. 12-step recovery programs are everywhere. They're free. Rehabs, detox facilities. There's plenty of hotlines to call. Someone will be there to help you, because what you're going through now is your testimony. And your testimony is going to be what you use to have a much better life and help others, like I've been able to help Ben. Because your story matters. You matter. And if you're not doing so already, I pray that today you begin living your life of purpose.